The project started with Rob Morse. He's the pastor of the Table, which is a Baptist church on Pentoak Street. And he had a memorial board. He's been renovating the church, working really, really hard on it, and had come across the memorial board around the pulpit and had had it renovated and restored. And he came across all the names but knew nothing about the people, and there weren't any existing records in the church. So he was talking to Catherine, who had just taken over the running of the Heritage Library, with all the local history resources, and we had a good relationship with Rob already because we've done other projects with him before. So it just sort of came that the three of us, all very enthusiastic, wanted to see, okay, is there a way that we can get children to use the library and to get to know about a library is more than just books, that there are lots of other things there for them to do.
My name is Rob Morse. I'm the pastor here at the Table and the chief barista. So call in for a coffee sometime. The memorial boards here, we touched them up, took them out and put the gold back on and highlighted them, and some of the elderly gentlemen in the street helped me do that. And that was the start of the project, really. We decided to research all the names. It took us a year then with the primary school and the library to try and find out the stories behind these soldiers. And the project developed then with the children interviewing a lot of the seniors in the area that would come in here week by week about the Second World War, obviously, and their memories of rationing and the bombs dropping here in Cardiff and how Cathays changed geographically through the bombing. And then at the library, a lot of research went on, and they wrote up their stories, their research in poems and pictures and recorded them. Today, of course, they turned the whole school into a 1918 school, and the suffragette march over to the library where the exhibition of the children's work based on the names of these men who gave their lives in the First World War will be there for a couple of weeks.
Okay, so very warm welcome to you all here today for the first part of a trilogy today, all of it based around remembering those who gave their lives and supported those who gave their lives during World War I specifically. So the children did a lot of research in the library, lest we forget, and here are two poems written by the children. They were asked to respond using their emotions to the research they found, especially after reading in Flanders Fields. So Hannah and Sam, first of all.
Imagine it then, imagine it now. The trees were crackling, keeping the graves alive. Some fought, some stayed, but some of them died. Marching through the trenches, one by one, with green armour prepared and strong.
Broken helmets littered around the muddy yard. The destruction spread like a disease so hard. Splats and splutters, terrible sights. Flowers trying to grow, night by night.
Was their choice right? Did they think before? Did they regret it? Why were they so sure?
Even though it was going on and on, the birds kept singing their wonderful song. As the end drew near, the soldiers had hope. They fought for us because they had to cope.
So if you see a poppy, keep it safe. Treasure it in the best place. Go tell your family in a haste, so they can feel how the air would taste. We should remember them. Let it sink in.
My family in the war. My dad was a leader, a very good reader. He gave his country life and put up the fight because he was all right. My grandfather was a very good farmer. His son, he made sure was a karma, but while he was alive, he gave everyone life. My mum was amazing, very good at saving. She was a doctor helping in the war. But while she was there, she was very, very poor. Myself was a lighter. I was a very good writer.
From the 48 names, my team of wonderful library staff managed to find detailed information on about 10 of them, and we then brought the children into the library to try and do some research on them and find out a little bit about the stories. We searched, and this is a long time ago, so I don't know if you can even remember anymore, we searched directories, electoral rolls, we looked at historical maps of Cardiff. Some of us managed to find our streets 100 years ago on the maps, didn't we? We looked at the online resources as well, and the children learned how to use these resources and their confidence in carrying out research and in using the library, not just for research but for reading for pleasure. It is massively improved, and I'm really proud of the work that they've done. They found out when the men were born, who their families were, where they went to school, who they lived with, all sorts of things about them. The pupils then made profiles of the soldiers, and those are actually available for you to come and have a look at in the library of the course, starting today up until next Sunday. And I'm now going to invite two very enthusiastic children to come and talk about the men we researched. So Caris is going to tell you about William Edgar Harries, and Ella Rose will talk about William Blunt.
I'm going to tell you about William Blunt. William was born in 1899 and unfortunately he died in 1915. During the war, his job was running and travelling through cities and countries, spilling information from this side there again. William Blunt lived on 61 Merthyr Street in Cardiff. However, we don't know what school he went to. William had a large family. His parents were Alfred and Annie, as well as his 4 siblings, who were Alfred, Harold, Irene and Hetty. He was very grateful for what he had.
Here I have some facts about William Edgar Harris's life. William was born on 26th of June 1896. He sadly passed away in World War I on 18th of January 1918. The school he went to was Gladstone, which is quite close here. He lived on 130 Pierce Road in 1901 and Redford Road in 1911. William lived with his parents named William Henry, and his mum was Margaret Ann, his grandmother Sarah Balmer, and his uncle Albert James Beaumont. During the war, William went around on a bike in France, sending messages on the front line. He got shot, and that's how he died.
I, for one, am actually glad that I was never there. I, for one, am actually glad that I'm not able to imagine the horror, because the sacrifices that these men went through was immense. Some of these thoughts are summed up in a poem put to song in Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks so bravely singing fly. Scattered amid the
Hello, I'm Ella Rose Jones.
And this is St Monica's Church in Wales Primary School in Catays Terrace. We have been doing a project for the last year about the 100 years since World War I ended. And we've done loads of research in the library, in the table and at the school with Catherine, Rob and everyone else. And here is a memorial about the boys who went to the old St Monica's Church in Wales Primary School down the road. And here's what it says. In grateful memory of St Monica's boys who gave their lives in the Great War, 1914 to 1918. We hope they rest in peace.
What's been really exciting for the children is that sort of dawning realisation that, okay, we're researching these people, but actually sometimes there isn't very much information, but you're looking in lots of different sources. But actually from today, we are making our own source of evidence that somebody in the future could look back on. So there is even more information that a child in 10, 20, 50, 100 years will go, oh, okay, so people did all these commemorations at the end of World War I.
All came out of a very, what I thought was going to be a nice chill conversation with Rob at the table about working together, and a year later we find ourselves having done research on the names of the 48 men who are listed on the memorial, working for over a year with these they were year 5s when I met them, now year 6s. They've done so many different kinds of research. They've worked with books, they've worked with photographs, they've looked at maps. Some of them have found their own houses on maps from 100 years ago. We've looked at who lived in those houses 100 years ago, and then we've also looked at these soldiers and found out a little bit about their lives, about where they lived, who they were, who they lived with.